In this short video, we'll demonstrate how to log into your Ruckus Cloud Wi-Fi portal account and provision a simple network. This means that we're going to add a venue, add an access point, create a wireless LAN or an SSID, assign the SSID to a venue, and then verify operation by making sure that wireless clients can connect to the internet. The Ruckus Cloud Wi-Fi portal is your primary interface to the Ruckus Cloud Wi-Fi service. To manage your APs and service settings, you must first log onto the Ruckus Cloud Wi-Fi portal. In our case, we already have one venue, and we'll create another venue, add an AP to the venue, and then assign an SSID to it. A venue is a physical space where you are deploying at least one access point that you will be managed using cloud Wi-Fi. You must add a venue before you can connect your access points to the cloud Wi-Fi. So to create a venue, we would click on Add Venue in the upper right-hand corner. We'll give the venue a name. In this case, we're going to call it Ahwahnee Foundry. You could give it a description. We'll just say Foundry. You'll notice there is a global map, and once we put in our address, it'll readjust itself. We've just entered our address, and you'll notice that the Google map has now readjusted itself. The time automatically sets itself depending upon the address. If I want to put in some address notes, I could do this. So I'll just put in Foundry Building, and I would then hit Create. And this will take about 30 to 60 seconds. So it'll create the venue. And it says the venue Ahwahnee Foundry was created, so I can view the venue. So let's go back and view the venue. So here we have it. We have the original venue that was installed before we started, and this is the venue that we just installed, Ahwahnee Foundry. Now you notice there's a difference in color here. This one is all good, it's active, it's been running. If I click over this, it says that it's in the setup phase because we haven't added any access points to it. So notice here that it says 0 networks and 0 APs and 0 clients. If I wanted to make this a mesh network, I would go ahead and click on this again. I would click on Edit Venue. I would scroll down to the bottom, and I would select Use Mesh Networking Configuration. As it says, if you have mesh APs, you will not be able to disable this option. So once we've configured a mesh AP, I would have to delete the AP and delete the venue and start over. So I'm going to hit Save, and that'll update the venue. And I am now instructed to add my first AP. As it says, this venue contains no APs. So we notice no clients, APs pending setup, networks pending setup, and so forth. So now we want to add an AP. So I'll click on APs. You notice that we have 2 APs in here already, and one is a mesh AP and one is a root access AP. So I'm going to click on plus new AP. And at the top, the very first option is the venue. So since I have 2 venues, I can select which venue I want to put this access point into. As a note, an AP can only be part of one venue. So I'm going to pick Ahwahnee Foundry. I'm going to give the AP a name. I'm going to call it R600 Foundry. Description is optional, but I'll put in the word Foundry, and then the serial number. In order to find the serial number for the AP, it's located on the sticker on the bottom of the AP, which is a 12-digit number. So I'll go ahead and put in my serial number. I can add an additional tag if I want, and I'll use Foundry again, and then I will hit Create. It'll go ahead and say Creating Access Point. So now we've just added our AP, and it says R600 Foundry. And it says the mesh role is a root access point. You notice that we don't have any clients here. Let's go ahead and click on this again. And you'll notice that now it gives a picture of the access point. I could add an additional photo if I wanted to. Some of the AP properties. It tells me what venue it's in. It tells me the description. It gives me the uptime. And it tells me the radios that are being used. If I wanted to take a look at the radio settings, I could click on View. And you notice here it says currently using radio settings of the venue Ahwahnee Foundry. So this is the default setting. You notice that all the channel selections are enabled, the background scanning is enabled, run a background scan every 20 seconds and so forth. If I wanted to customize the settings for the AP, I would click on this. Now I could go in and customize. I could change my background scanning. I could change my run background scan. We'll leave the default on that. Bandwidth is automatic. I could select 20 megahertz or 40 megahertz. So I can go through and customize this if I want to. I'm just going to leave the default settings, but I just wanted to point out that you can go in and customize your radio settings. So I'll hit cancel. So now we have an operational AP, we have 0 clients, we have 0 networks. So the next thing that I need to do is to set up a network and assign an SSID to this access point. So I'm going to go to my Networks tab, and you notice that we already have some networks in here, but I'm going to create a new network. So I'll click on plus new network. And across the top, you'll notice that we have 4 stages: network details, onboarding, venues, and summary. So I'll start out by giving this a name. So I'm going to call it Foundry SSID. And the type of network. Now we have 3 different major types. We have organizational that uses a pre-shared key or a remote AAA or a cloud path. We have public, and we could use a portal, or we could use open. Open is never suggested, but for example, if I clicked on portal, this says to set up a portal to allow users to self-register using their social media. Or I could select guest, and if I do guest, I could select self-sign-up or managed. We have videos that describe how to set up each of these networks. So I'm just going to go back to organization, and I'm going to select pre-shared key, and then I'm going to hit next. This takes me to my onboarding. So in this case, I need to put in a minimum of an 8-character passphrase. So I'm going to put in a very cryptic passphrase of 30, 30, 30, 30, which you should never use in the real world, but since this is a demo, we'll put an easy one in. Security protocol is WPA2, which is recommended, but I could change that if I wanted to. And then I would click Next. This brings me to the venue. So here is where I assign the SSID to a venue. You'll notice that it is not assigned to either venue right now. So I want to put this on a Wani Foundry, so I'm going to turn this on, and then I'm going to hit Next, and that brings me to my Summary tab. Just gives me a summary, so the name, the SSID, the category, the type, and the venue that it's associated with. If I went to Advanced Network Settings, I could customize this, such as I could hide the SSID, I could give it a different VLAN ID, I could adjust my rate limiting, and so forth. We're just going to go ahead and take the default values, and I will then select Create. And this will create the network. And then it'll activate network on venue Wani Foundry. And after about 60 seconds or so, your SSID will be added. So this is my new SSID. You notice we don't have a description in here. So I'll click on that. I can edit that network. I can give it a description, and I can hit Save. And that'll go ahead and update that SSID. All right, we've now just updated the SSID. So this is my Foundry SSID, and it says that the overall, everything is good. One AP is operational, so that shows the AP that's associated with this. Venues activated on one venue. An SSID can be on multiple venues, but in this case, it is one venue. And I want you to notice something. Notice that now this is green. Gives me the city, the county. Networks is 1, AP is 1, network is activated, and the scheduling is 24/7. So this SSID is available all the time. If I wanted to change that, I could click on this gear over here, network settings, and you'll notice that by default it's 24/7. If I wanted to customize the schedule of when this SSID was available, I could click on custom, and then I could go ahead and select different time frames. So for example, if I only wanted this to be operational from 8 in the morning until 6 p.m., here's where I would set that up. I'm going to go ahead and take the default values, but I just wanted to show this to you. So now if I go back to my dashboard, you'll notice that I have 2 venues, and they're both good. I could expand those. So I've got the Wani Foundry, got networks, APs, and it's still updating itself on clients. That'll take a little while. Under my APs, you'll notice that this is the one that we just added, our R600. So it tells me what venue it's on. It shows that it's a root access point, and I don't have any clients associated with it yet. And we'll go ahead and attach one in here shortly. And back on the dashboard, but what I want to point out is that on this map, we have teardrops, and these teardrops are our venue. So if I roll over that venue, it'll tell me what the venue is, the number of APs, and the number of clients, and it's still updating the clients as of this point. And also, this is my other venue, so this is my Awani Foundry, and if you'll notice that there's a difference in size for these two teardrops. So the more APs that you have, the larger the teardrop will be. So the one thing that we need to do is to verify our network. So what I need to do is attach a client to this network. So let's make sure that our network is available. So if I go to my lower right and I click on my wireless network connection, I'll see that there it is. I have my Foundry SSID, so it is visible. So what I'm going to do is pause the video and attach my smartphone to that SSID. So I've just connected my smartphone to the Foundry SSID, and if I click over that, I see that Awani Foundry now has one AP and one client, and if I click over the Awani Arts, I have two APs with 7 clients. So if I expand my APs up here, you'll notice that the R600, which is the one that we just installed, is now set up as a root access point, and it has one client attached to it. So we've now verified that our network is now working. If I go to users, I can see here that my Android phone is connected to my Awani Foundry, and it's on the R600, and it gives me my network and my RSSI and the time of connection. So this connected just about a minute ago. If I want more detail on that client, I would just click on it, and this will give me my client history. It'll take a few seconds for that to load. So now we have our client history, we have the sessions for the last 30 days, we have the client properties, and so forth. So this has just been a quick tour on how to log into the Ruckus Cloud Wi-Fi portal, add a venue, add an access point, create an SSID, assign that SSID to a particular venue, and then verify operation.